I want to say this real quick because what's starting to happen is that there's going to be a division between so-called street dudes and so-called classic men, as we call them, or educated guys. Now, being in Black Los Angeles, you get a mix of everybody. I mean, you really get a mix of everybody. And you're going to get the so-called hood dudes, and you're going to get educated dudes. Now, why is it when we get on a basketball court and you have a educated dude and a hood dude, we get along just fine? When we in a sports bar, we can get along just fine. When we at a Super Bowl party, we can get along just fine. When we're actually hanging out one-on-one, we can chop it up, we can talk about shit, and we can get along just fine. Anytime this kind of shit gets started is with women. Guys have to stop getting so emotional about pussy. There are almost 3 million more women black women in the country than there are men. And black men should be able to chop it up and talk to each other and discuss things amongst each other. If the street dudes and the hood dudes have a problem with the educated guys or the classic men, they know where to find us. They know how to chop it up. There's all kinds of dudes in my comment section. Every street dude knows if they ain't doing what they're supposed to do. Every educated dude knows when they ain't doing what they're supposed to do. My brother-in-law is a street guy. Been a street guy his whole entire life. He's one of my best friends. When my sister married him, and he doing all the same stuff that every other street dude does, or I would say unproductive street dude does. He hustles here, he hustles there. He couldn't keep a regular job, especially when he was younger. And the rest of the family did not like him. I was the only person that liked him because we could chop it up as men. And my sister's decision about about him and what he does is her business, is her goddamn business. I told her so. Dude didn't have a regular job. Dude didn't have a career and anything like that. And you were educated and you married him. Okay. You married him. He say it doesn't work. That's between you and him. And you're still married to him. Well, if he's going to be at home, take care of him. Because I personally am not going to dislike him because of what you're talking about. We're not going to try to raise him or change him when you accepted him as he was. And a lot of women do that because they can't keep their hands off of you guys for whatever reason. For whatever reason, they can't keep their hands off of you guys. And they were willing to allow you to seed them. Multiple women down there allow you to seed them of all different classes because it ain't just the low class chicks or so-called low class chicks that are dating y'all. If they want to get pregnant by you and they want to have babies by you, so be it. What other guys would like them to stop doing is trying to get us to pay for it. Stop trying to get us to educate that man's children. Stop trying to get these guys' children to stop shooting each other. They have fathers. They have mothers. Their fathers and their mothers are supposed to be pulling these kids by the scruff of their neck and pulling them off the street. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Not some guy that got a master's in whatever supposed to be coming down to the hood, risking his life to people that don't like him and don't respect him to try to uplift people. Every guy, educated or not, that's been in my hangout says they have no problem if say a so-called low-class dude is going to come to him and say, I need help changing my life. Give me a hand up. Give me some advice. Mentor me. Ain't no brother ever said that he would not do it. But as men, we respect men for doing whatever the hell they want to do, when they want to do it, and paying the consequences for doing so. The burden for the women, the burden is not on us to change your man. The burden is not on us to change your children. That is your job. If you pick that man and says he's got value and you can change him, well, then change him. Stop trying to pit one class of dude or so-called class of dude against another. It's not even a class, it's a type. Stop trying to pit the two types of guys against each other. If you like them, keep them. And the so-called street dudes, which I don't even like that name, street niggas, I don't even like that name. They're just regular dudes. They're neighborhood dudes. That's all they are. They're neighborhood dudes. We walk down the street, they're neighborhood dudes. When I go down the street and there's a young kid that's 20 years old, he's a street dude or a neighborhood kid, and he needs $1 because he needs something to eat, you give him $1 because he needs something to eat. If he asks for advice, you give him advice. You don't ask what hood he's from, whether he graduated from high school or not. You don't ask any of that stuff. Individually, we could care less about what you guys do and where you stick your dick or why the women allow you to stick their dick in them. When black women are trying to get their twin mating strategies fulfilled, they want the swag and the edge of a street dude with the resources and the education of a different kind of guy. They're trying to put these two guys together. They're trying to get us to pull you up and you guys to pull us down at the same time. Stop falling for the hype. And not one of us so-called on my channel ever went over to the Angry Man channel or the Minister Jap's channel or anybody who is considered a so-called hood dude and went and spammed their channel. Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. Same thing with Ram. Not to our knowledge have we ever gone down and disparaged any of these guys, because we're men. We want to be respected like men, just like they want to be respected like men. Deborah Cooper talks about so-called educated guys or upscale guys turning their nose up at dudes that are lower than them. It happens. Women do that. Women do that all the freaking time. All the time. Constantly to each other. Constantly. But by the same token, a hood dude is going to talk about call a dude square or lame or whatever it is behind their back, sometimes to their face. Call them square. I've been called square by hood dudes. We get out on the basketball court, none of that goes on. If we're at a party, none of that goes on. The only time I ever had a problem with a hood dude is when he wanted my woman. That's the only time this stuff even comes up, is when there's women involved. So if the hood guys or the so-called regular hood guys have a problem, have an issue with me or anybody that's in my, that are sub to me or anything that I say, they can step to me. We can chop it up. There is such a thing as class. You can't deny that. Because any of them hood dudes start making $1 million, he ain't gonna tarry down there with some low class dudes. It's not working. Tariq Nasheed is an example of a hood dude. You know, and proudly so. He'll tell you, proudly so. He's a hood dude that got out and got his paper up. He's the one that invented the word dusty nigga, and he's a hood dude. Dusty nigga didn't come from a so-called educated lame. It came from a hood guy that called non-productive hood guys dusty niggas. Now, if a hood guy, self-proclaimed Mac and hood guy, they used to do his dirt back in the day, could come up with a term for a low-class dude and call him dusty nigga, there's a such thing as class. Even amongst working blue-collar guys that live in the neighborhood, non-productive dudes are called dusty or called low class. There is such thing as class. There's a such thing as class for a reason. It is to prompt these guys to elevate themselves. That's what it's for. But there is no beef between classic men and the regular dudes or the neighborhood guys. There ain't no beef. The beef is when women come in and want us to change you. We don't want to change you. We want you to be who you are. If she's willing to pay for you and she's willing to take care of you, you know, God bless her. But don't come on our side complaining about them taking care of a dude. Hell, I cleared that up with what's her name in the hangout when she mentioned that stuff about dudes living off of chicks. And we know, everybody knows why chicks allow you to do that. And it has nothing to do with your swag, at least not that high. It's a lot lower, like I told her. But anyway, I hope that clears it up from my end, because I know I rattled some cages and I shook some trees and some fruit fell out. So I'm willing to own it and pick that shit up. This is how I feel about it. This is coming from me. This is what I've said. If you have any disagreement with what I've said, my hangouts are always open. Especially if you're a man, you can say whatever. I don't, if as long as you don't become overbearing and go do too much, I don't delete men's comments. So if you got an issue with whatever I said, whatever video I've said, any man is welcome to chop it up. I run 8-hour hangouts expressly for that. So any guy that disagrees with whatever I said, I am willing to explain myself. I'm willing to chop it up, whether you agree or disagree. And that's been for women, that's been for white guys, and especially the brothers. So I hope I've made myself clear, and I hope this hasn't gone on too long. And with that, I'm going to bow out. And as always, this is BGS out.